Hi, today we are going to learn how to sign in for PCAs for your time card. To give a little background, the state of Minnesota is and the federal government are requiring that we electronically verify your location and the time you start. So this software that we're using is the tool that allows us to keep track of that and provides the data that the state needs so that they can reimburse for the time. So this is very important stuff to know because this is what allows us to bill for your time and allows us to pay you. So when you come to work, the first thing you do is find the laptop at the site, open it up, and sign in. Now, there are no usernames or passwords just to sign into the laptop, but it's important that that's the first thing you do when you come in to make sure that your clock in time is accurate. If you go and say hi to your client and help with a bed bath and do that stuff, and then come back to your to clock in, you're now going to be clocking in late. And there's not a way to adjust that on your end. So you're then going to have to fill out a time card correction form, bring it into the office, and with a signature from the client, and then we'll have to do a retraining with you. So first thing when you walk in is find that laptop, open it up, and you're going to see this screen right here once you log in. And you want to click on PCA Time Card. And this is going to load the software that is going to let you clock in and get paid. So sometimes it takes 10, 15 seconds for the page to load the first time in the day, and that's okay. Just let it go, and then it'll come up, and it's going to ask you, it's going to say Cache Software wants to know your location, and you need to click allow. If you click block, we will see on the other end that we don't have that data, that GPS location and GPS time that the state requires. And so we are then going to have to reach out to you and have some additional documentation done because it won't be a legal timesheet. So make sure you click allow. Once you click allow, go ahead and select your language. Even though it looks like it's selected, you do need to click on it. So click on English or whatever language you want to use. I'm going to use English for the purposes of this. Click OK. Then we want to put in our email address, and this is the one that you provided when we went through training. And then put in your password. If you forgot your password, click here on Forgot Your Password, and it's going to send an email with a code to the email address that you have registered with us. All right, so let's go ahead and click Login, and I put in the wrong password. Let's try that. Perfect. We never want to save our passwords. So there are 4 screens here, but 2 are the only ones that we deal with. This is our first screen. This is our home base, our dashboard. And the other one is right here. This is called the Care Recipients menu. And the Care Recipients menu is where all of your clients are listed that you are authorized to work with. So quick, want to take a look at the home screen here. You notice it says no appointments are currently scheduled. Now, we don't actually do any scheduling through this software, so you never will see an appointment scheduled here. Let's see up here, it says I have 4 timesheets to submit. We're going to come back to that at the end. But we're going to start every day by clicking here on the Care Recipients menu. And you want to find the client you're working with. So I'm going to work with Practice Client today. So I walked in the door, I've gone to the computer, I've signed in, I've logged in, and now I click on the Care Recipient menu, and I'm going to click on Start Visit. It's going to ask me to select my job. So you have to select something. If you don't select it, I want to show you what will happen. I'm going to click OK. And this little box comes on the bottom, and it's gone before you have a chance to read it. But it says you need to select your job. So we're going to click it again. And now I'm going to select PCA shift because that's the type of shift you're working, and click OK. And now this is a very important part right here. If this doesn't change to a red stop button, you are not clocked in. Notice up here it says green start visit. If it said that down here, that means you are not clocked in. If it doesn't change to that, you need to click start visit again. It's not because you're a bad person. It's not maybe even because you did anything wrong, but you aren't clocked in yet, so you need to click the green start visit button. Okay, so once it says stop, once you click start visit, now it says stop, you are clocked in. You actually don't need to do anything more. You can go ahead and click up here on the top and go to log out. And say, do you want to log out? You're going to click yes. Now go about your business for the day, do all of your stuff, and don't think about this again until the end of the night, or end of your shift, I should say. So at the end of your shift, last time, right at the end, last thing you do before you leave, you're going to go ahead and open up the computer again. It's going to bring you to this page. You're going to click on PCA time card, and then it's going to go through the same screen. It's going to ask you to, if you allow your location, click yes, select your language, click yes. And then you want to go ahead and put your password in here again. And get in there. And we'll start off on that home screen, your dashboard, and click again on the Care Recipients menu. Now, mine's a little funny right now because I've got a double client on here for some reason, but you want to click on stop. And when you click stop, that is going to end your day. That time you click stop. So I'm going to click stop right now. It'll say 2:01 is when I'm done. So this is the last thing you do before you walk out. I'm going to click stop. Do you want to end this visit? Yes, I do. And now it's going to bring up your charting. And this is what replaces that paper you maybe used to use. And you'll notice all the categories that we usually document on are over here. But starting at the top, you'll have the recipient of care. It'll say their name right here. It'll say the service type. It should be a PCA shift. Our ratios are always 1-to-1. And then over here, you'll see the activities, and you'll see that they're all checked already by default. So what you want to do is uncheck anything you didn't do. So let's say that you didn't do any grooming. And so you'd unclick there, and this person was in their wheelchair the whole time you were there. You didn't actually have to do any transfers. We're going to click here, and there was no behavior related activity, so we'll click there. And we're going to keep scrolling down, and there's a section for notes. We don't actually use, whoops, I accidentally clicked light housekeeping, so I clicked it again just for it to go back. But again, going back to the notes, we don't actually use the notes section. So anything you put in here is not something that we are going to see. So don't put any important information in here, hoping that our biller or our payroll person is going to see that. So keep going down. We got our time in and our time out. And you'll see here, we've got our service location and location verified by GPS. On both of these, there's green check marks. If you didn't click allow the software to know your location, this is going to be red. And that's when we are going to have to fill out some additional documentation. But I'm going to go ahead and click sign and submit. And now this screen is going to come up for a signature for you. Now this is your signature, not the client's. This is your signature. And you need to have the mouse within this square. And then you're going to press down on the trackpad with one finger and do your signature with your other one. Now I don't expect your signature to be perfect. We understand that it's a little tough to do that without it being a touch screen. But just as long as you have something there, that is good enough. So now you'll see there's two options: get client signature and submit time entry. You may see get RP or get responsible party signature there, but you don't need to worry about anything here because we always click submit time entry. We do not get signatures from the client at the time of service. So go ahead and click submit time entry. And okay, you're done. You're done for the day. You can log out, you can close out, and you can head home. So now let's talk about what happens when you click on something and it doesn't quite look the way it should. You're not able to clock out. You've accidentally closed your laptop. Any number of things could happen to get you to this point. I'm going to start a visit here with my practice client, a PCA shift. I've clicked on the button. It's now blue. I click OK, and we're ready to stop. And so now imagine I'm coming back at the end of my shift and I'm ready to clock out. So I'm going to click stop. Do you want to end this visit? Yes, I do. And so I get here and I accidentally turn off the laptop or lose power or anything happens that stops you from clicking sign and submit. You click cancel, right? Or you even click sign and submit, but then you click cancel. Well, you can always click it again, but you hit cancel, and now what do? I'll tell you what you don't do. What you don't want to do not click start visit and then immediately click stop visit. That's going to make a time clock entry that is 0 minutes long, and you will not get paid for your shift because we are going to ignore a 0 minute long clock in time because we assume that's an error. So if you have started and stopped a visit, or you're at the end of your day and now you can't find it, you can't find the place to sign, you want to click here on the home button. And now we're going to talk about this right here. Anytime something goes wrong or something needs to be changed, you're going to get prompted up here to re-sign or to sign that time card. So anytime you log in and you see this, you want to click on view and take care of it. That's money on the table. Those are time cards that haven't been submitted because they haven't been signed by you. Okay, so if you see this, that's something you want to take care of. And you can clock in and then come back and take care of this. But you don't want to leave this. I have seen people, they come and they say, hey, I haven't been paid for these 5 shifts. And we log in and take a look. And sure enough, there's 5 time cards that they haven't finished signing. And they may have not done anything wrong. There's something quirky happened. But if this is here, you need to go ahead and click on view. Now, you'll see here it says 5 timesheets to submit. And we don't sign these in bulk because we want to make sure that you do the documentation. And you do the documentation by coming down here to the next row down. And you'll see these 5 time entries are all here. So I've got time entries going back to February 5th that I haven't signed and been paid for. So I want to sign those. And I've got today where I accidentally clicked cancel. So I can go in and click complete now. And this is the same screen we were at before. I can do the same thing, uncheck dressing, uncheck mobility. I'm going to uncheck laundry because I didn't do any of those things. I've got my start and stop time, my location's verified, sign and submit. And again, you're going to sign here, do your best to do your signature, and again, click submit time entry. And then it's going to bring you back here. You'll see that February 28th entry is not there anymore. And there now is just the 4. So we'll click on the next one. Do the same thing. This one I didn't do any bathing or positioning. And then this one we have an out time location could not be verified. So on this one, there is going to need to be some additional documentation, and we'll talk about that. But go ahead and click sign and submit. Put your signature, submit time entry. Okay, and you're going to do that for every one. So that one we just looked at that said could not be verified, that was a time entry where I forgot to clock out. And the administrator had to go in and put a clock out time. So when that happens, you are going to need to fill out a PCA time card correction form. And that's so we have some extra documentation when the state says, hey, why did you pay them for this shift? You couldn't verify it electronically like you're supposed to. And we've got an extra step to verify that so that we don't get fined for that entry. So just to review this, if you see this is time cards that have not been signed. You need to go in and get them signed. So now let's take a look at the PCA time card correction form. This is used when the electronic charting doesn't work, whether that's employee error or technology error. So on here, you'll see there's employee name. You're going to put your name. Today's date, that is the day you're filling it out, not the day that you need to make the correction for, right? So it's today's date, not the date that you need to make a correction for. And then we're going to go down here, name of client. So I would put practice client, for instance. And here is the date of the shift worked. Okay, so this, if you started your shift on February 10th, that's what you would put here. For those of you who work overnight, you would put the beginning of the shift, and then in the next line down, you would indicate that you ended it on the next day. So the correct clock in, date, and time. So if my correct time was 10 o'clock, I'm going to put that here. So I worked on 2/10 at 10 o'clock, and then the correct clock out date and time, and I worked till 6 p.m. So I'm going to write it was 2:10 at 6 p.m. Reason for the correction. Okay, so if there is a technology problem that is out of your control that you immediately report, you're going to write there, technology problem, reported it to the on-call nurse, or something to that effect. If the reason is I forgot to clock in on time or I forgot to clock out on time, that's what you're going to write here. And then date and time, caregiver reported error to supervisor or on-call nurse. And this is very important. So, and that has to do with the rest of this form. So the policy is, if you have a problem that prevents you from clocking in, you need to immediately contact a supervisor. And we have staff available 24 hours a day to be called. There's a number on the computer that says the number for the after hours on-call nurse, and you should have your number for your case manager out at the site at all times anyway. So you need to contact someone when you have the problem. But hey, I got there and I couldn't clock in because there was it didn't work, but I had to go help my client at that moment. Like, I had to go do it. But that isn't really a real situation. What you need to do is, if your start time is 7 o'clock, you pick up, you go to your laptop at 7 o'clock and you try and log in and you're having a problem, you need to call at 7 o'clock. If you call me or one of the case managers at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, we can't help you fix it. And we don't know what the problem was. And so that is going to be a time when you need to actually provide additional documentation so we have that evidence for the state. And if you look down here a little further, you can see we have name of witness to when caregiver started or end of care, witness's signature, caregiver's signature. If you don't report the technology error at the time, we don't know that you actually had it then. So we need that additional step of a witness signature and that witness to verify the time you were there. And the other thing that's going to happen is that we need you to actually bring that into the office in person. If you report the problem as soon as it happens and we tell you, hey, we can't fix it right now, possibly, go ahead and fill out a PCA time card correction form, and you can fax that into the office. You don't need to bring it in. That's the ideal situation for you, because you can just put it in the fax machine, take a picture of it maybe, and send it over, and you don't have to take time out of your day to bring it in. But if it's because you clocked in late, or you forgot to clock out at the end of the day, we're going to need you to go ahead and get all these signatures and take it into the office in person, because we're going to need to do a retraining. And that includes if you have a technology problem and you don't call to report it. And the reason is it takes a lot of administrative time to fix these things, and we haven't actually fixed your problem to begin with. So call us. We can't know it's not working if you don't call us, and we can't fix it unless you call us when the problem is occurring. We probably can fix it for you at that time.